Erica Travis, thank you so much for being here. This is show number one of the Concierge Selling System. Sean Quinn in Short Hills, New Jersey. Erica, where are you broadcasting from?
I am broadcasting from my house actually right now. I'm located in Parsippany, New Jersey, and my office is in Morristown.
So thanks so much for coming. The background of this is we're really committed to helping Compass Realtors start fresh conversations with sellers and reignite old ones using the concierge program that we have, which I think is like the best kept secret. When I had asked around for champions of the concierge program, your name came up several times. So I'm really excited about this. I hear you're a real powerhouse, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about yourself and why you love the Compass Concierge program.
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I joined Compass in 2020 when Compass was just beginning to come into the Morristown market. So we were one of the founding teams there. I've been a licensed realtor's teen. I decided to get my broker license shortly after I was licensed because I just wanted to continue the education. I have a family of four, two little girls, a 5 and 3-year-old, soon to be four, and my husband, who is also a licensed realtor on my team and a teacher. So he's more part time. I love Compass. I remember when I first saw a Compass sign, it was Xander Oldendorp. It was the old
Good old Xander. Yeah.
and I was like, wow, they left their old brokerage. I'm not going to say who it was. And I was kind of blown away. I said, what would make them leave? I
Yeah.
mean, I found that so many brokerages were very similar to each other, and I never had any intention on leaving where I was. And when I looked up his website to see where he was, and I looked at Compass and the tools they had, Compass Concierge was the first thing that stood out to me. And I thought to myself, wow, I wish I had this tool. I've always actually said this to people. I've said, oh man, I would love to come out of pocket and give you money to help you fix your house so that you can maximize the return on your investment. I've wanted to do that forever. Now I don't have to. There's no liability because we have the Compass Concierge legal team and everything is done for us. So when I saw that, that was like, you kind of got me
Can
with
I
that.
share a story? My
Yeah.
wife was, why are you coming out of pocket for your clients? So during COVID, I felt an obligation to, not nickel and dime my clients. So they were paying for the majority, but then of course I'm paying for paint or this or that. And my wife's like, why are you paying for that? And I didn't really have a good answer. Basically, my answer was I want to be a hero. Right. But my quick story is, believe it or not, and it sounds crazy, but I was in Malibu, California, and there's a village in Malibu. And there I saw a big sign on the door. It said concierge services. So I had family in California and Los Angeles. My mom lived there, and we would go to Malibu. And I saw that sign and I'm like, that's amazing, because I had at the time something called Prep to
Mhm.
Sold package at Remax. So I was at Remax for 20 years. And I just noticed people were needing help, usually last minute, right? Just before they listed, like, who am I going to hire?
Yeah.
Right. Sean, can you recommend someone? Inevitably it was, we had, we needed multiple skills to kind of just do those finishing touches. And I'm like, well, I got a guy, he can do a little bit of everything. But I just noticed that people needed help.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Before you discovered concierge, did you, were you providing anything along those lines, or did you notice, were your clients asking for that? Or did you just think that would be a great value added?
No, I actually was doing that, but it
Uh,
was all hands on. Like I had to do everything where, with concierge, it's you point them in the right direction, you give them the debit card. Everything is all boilerplate, just exactly what they need to do. And it just simplifies the process a lot more because rather than me going there and like helping them paint, literally I would be the one helping them paint.
really?
Yeah. My very first listing, I repainted the entire kitchen,
Come
all the
on.
cabinets. I stripped the wallpaper. Let me tell you, as soon as we did that, I got the house sold that weekend. Like, not even kidding. And I sold it myself. That was my very first listing. And that's what got my foot in the door in the neighborhood where I've become the neighborhood expert.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't mind doing it. The house was vacant. It was a rental for
Okay.
time,
Got it.
and it just needed like a little touch. And I am very handy. I did my cabinets myself. These were not black when we
Oh,
went to
wow.
them. They were like a cherry red.
Yeah, well, that's what I had, but you did it
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes, I did it myself when I was pregnant, 6 months pregnant. Yes. And listen, you do it outside, it's well ventilated, wear a
You
mask, and we had
were
a
was
nine-month-old at home at the time,
wow,
but I was determined to get it done because I wanted
wow.
to have a certain look without breaking the bank. And
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it. People ask me all the time, what's the number one way to boost the value of a house? Paint.
Yeah, this is crazy because we just painted our kitchen cabinets, and they were cherry red in 2002, and I thought I was rich. I'm like, "Look how beautiful these cherry ridge cabinets are.
Yeah.
We moved on up, honey." Right?
Yeah.
And then, like, 20 years later, you're like, "Oh god, I have to look at these cabinets
I
every
know.
day." Finally, I had a client that I sold a house to, happened to be an amazing interior painter. She still is, still a great friend and client, but I had to wait 6 months for her. I was a little afraid. I didn't necessarily wanna do it myself.
Yeah.
She did an amazing job, but I did have to wait 6 months, but that's so cool that you did it
That's
yourself.
okay.
That
Yeah, well, we were in a time crunch, and I was like, I'm a
yeah.
very go, 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 let's do this
Yeah.
on, you know.
Correct. It's like that's why I'm
I
never
don't like to
rich.
wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So that's great. So you shared a little bit about yourself, and I'm assuming your service area is in that area, or you're kinda like all over the place or
I am all over the place. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm from Cranford, which is Union County.
oh,
So I
wow.
grew up there.
Okay.
My
That's by
parents are
me.
still there. They're
Yeah.
from, they're originally from Clark, which is a town over.
Yep.
And I just love Cranford. I love it. I wish I sold there every single day, but I don't
Yeah.
live there. So I live right outside Morristown. I used to work in Maplewood, right in the village. Love Maple. If you ever gone shopping
Wow.
there, Christmas time, so cute. Holidays, a little Dickens village that's
Yes.
like miniature for
You
kids.
yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And the cutest little shops. I love, I'm very into old architecture and history. So for me, that was like, I just love Maplewood. And it's funny because anybody's looking in Morristown, they tend to be looking in areas along the tree lines that come with decent schools if they're planning to have a family. So it's kind of nice that I know those areas because
Yeah, you can move about from area to area. No,
yeah,
that's really
exactly.
fun.
So it's nice.
So, can you share a little bit about how you're selling concierge?
Yes, I'd love to. So it all depends on the listing. Before I even go on the appointment, I tend to look at the listing to see what I'm getting myself into. And then when you have your initial conversation with your client on the phone, they'll tell you some of the improvements they've made. But I like to do all of my listing appointments in a two-step process. So I go
Okay.
there, meet them first. I like to get to know them, have them give me a tour of the house. They start to tell me things that they've done to the house. And a lot of times that opens up conversations about what they wish they did, like what they
Right.
wish it had.
You're not bringing this up, right?
Correct. It's just a
Right.
natural conversation. And I think it's really important to be able to build that rapport first because you can't do this all in one shot. Nobody, like, it's just too much. You can't
Right.
have a whole listing
Sure.
presentation and get to know the client, get to know the house, all of that. I don't like
Yeah.
doing it over the phone. I like to be face to face with them. And then you can kind of make conversation and find out what it is that they love about the house and things that they wish was a little better. And that's where your brain starts to work and say, well, I bet you we could do this. In your brain, you're thinking, I bet you we could do this for X amount of dollars. And then that's going to cause, more people to pay more over list price and it's going to sell faster if we did X, Y, or Z. I always go into every room with that in the back of my mind, like, oh, this furniture might need to be rearranged, or we might need to change out this bedding, or we might need to get rid of these blinds and just put in curtains. I'm always thinking about little things like as far as staging goes, minor updates, renovations. It always depends on the client. So if they have like a beautiful house that everything's done, obviously you're not talking about concierge. Like,
Right.
why would you be pitching concierge on a turnkey house? You have to,
How
you
are
know,
you pitching to clients that feel like this is a hot market or, you know, they don't have to do anything or like, what are you finding? Like, is it, are some people open to it, some not? Like, well, if they're not thinking about doing anything, will you bring it up anyway? Like, what are those
um,
conversations look
it
like?
all depends. I think if the client is just like, we don't want to do work, I'm not going to push them to do work. If they don't want to do that, I'm just going to say, okay, well, if you change your mind, I'd love to tell you a little bit more about how I can help maximize the return on your investment. This is your largest asset. And I know it's daunting to think about moving and having to fix things, but that's where I come in. Like, I will oversee everything. I do everything. You don't have to worry about a thing. Like, I do
And is that
everything.
appealing? Is that appealing to them? Do they, it's
It beyond words. I mean, time is our biggest asset, I
sure.
think. We don't have enough
I
time.
barely have time to clean the house before I leave. So I can't imagine,
Yeah.
uh, well, I can't imagine, but what it would take to really get a house ready. So you're saying the fact that it's done for you or done for them is
Mhm.
to them. Cool.
Very appealing. I mean, you have to be willing to wanna do that, you
Yeah, of
know? That's a
course.
big
Yeah.
responsibility to have.
Sure. Sure.
And, you know, my phone is glued to me. So if I know I need to order a vanity, boop, 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 sending it off to the client. Do you approve this vanity? Like, I have the measurement from the contractor.
You're literally going to that level.
Oh, yeah, I do everything.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm not even
All
kidding.
right. So
I
give it
want
to
it
us
done.
like, so you're literally transforming their home. Like you're doing,
Absolutely.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so anybody watching this video is going to ask themselves, like, who's, couldn't do it, wants to do it, but a little timid, like, what does that take? Obviously, the client has to be receptive, right? So what do you have to put in place to get that kind of thing done?
Well,
Not
if you have some experience in or a passion for design and knowing what the market is looking for, what buyers are looking for, which you should because you're out with buyers all the time and buyers are always overwhelmed when a house needs a lot of work. I know that certain buyers, they prefer quartz counters. They don't like granite because granite's, outdated.
yeah.
So, you could price out what the cost of doing a, countertop replacement. And let's just say they have laminate. Sometimes just doing something as simple as countertop backsplash, painting the cabinets and replacing hardware, that's now adding 30,000 in value to their kitchen that may only cost them, $6,000.
Well,
It's
I think the fear for some realtors is, I don't want to damage anything around that vanity. If one thing gets nicked, then you got to do that. So one,
Well, that's on the
well,
contractor, right?
right.
That
So let's talk about that. Do you have go-to contractors?
I do. And I've gotten one so busy that I've now needed to find new ones because he's so busy now. And I need him
Right.
like sometimes tomorrow, like
Wow.
he's somebody who's not so busy and he's so busy now. I need more help. So I've actually, help me and this other agent, Jessica, we both had compiled like a small list of recommended contractors, recommended handymen, painters, appliance repair companies, carpeting, floor installation, floor refinishing. I mean, you name it. We have a whole Excel spreadsheet, which I'm happy to share. And it has
That's a bonus. That's a bonus giveaway. People are going to do something.
yeah.
Uh, like, I don't know. I got the DM or something, but that's going to be a special handout, of course, with your branding and everything. But that's amazing. Whether you live in New Jersey or not, that's not the point. The point is that you have a list of trusted contractors, right? So I have been on this quest. I've been lucky to meet some contractors. I kind of stepped into it. I have been looking, but what's strange is like sometimes these contractors are here today and gone tomorrow.
Mhm.
So I think
Yeah.
some realtors might be a little afraid of like, how do I know I can trust this one contractor? I mean, I literally interviewed a painter once that was highly recommended. I call him 2 months later. He's in another country. Like he's
Mhm.
like, I don't know when I'm going to be back. I'm like,
Yeah.
got to be kidding me, right? Now I have other ones, but it really is like it takes something. But to your point, like if you can create that list, right, and keep those conversations and create new ones, you have a running list, then you always know you're going to be of value at the ready for your clients.
Right. And I think, yes, to your point, I mean, you don't want to necessarily recommend somebody to a client that you've never personally worked with. So, do you have something in your house that needs to be done? Honestly, I think the best thing to do is ask the client if you were to walk into your house today as a buyer and you saw that this needed this,
I'm
whatever that
writing,
is,
I'm writing this
would
down.
that make you want to pay top dollar or bid over list price? The
So say
answer is
that one more
you
time.
know.
Say that again. Say
If
that again.
if you were a buyer walking into your house and you saw whatever the thing is that needs to be fixed, would that entice you to want to pay top dollar or bid over list price? Do you think a lot of people are going to want to bid over list price when they see that this is not finished or this is not working? Like, no, the answer is no, they're not going to. So why are you going to sell yourself short? This is your biggest asset. This needs to go down on your down payment for your next purchase. So let's maximize that. Whether that's going to delay the listing by a month, so what? Like, time is money. The house is going to sell faster. Now you're looking at a one weekend listing as opposed to maybe 2 or 3
Right.
weeks on the market and not
I
getting
love
as high as you would have had you done X, Y, and Z. It's no,
and,
it's a no brainer for me.
and Erica, I think you're right. I think for a professional to come in and really be clear about that and be really straight, I think they value that. I think they want that.
You have to
Right.
believe in it. If you don't believe in
Yeah.
it yourself, then
Right.
you can't
Exactly.
pitch somebody on it.
Right. Right. You got to be really clear and believe in that. That's so awesome. So, how are you marketing concierge? Is this just a listing presentation add on? Are you leading with it? Are you doing any mailers, any digital stuff? Can you share a little your marketing plan?
Sure. All the above. Last year, I was one of the sponsors of a Pink Witches Night Out, which is a fundraiser for breast cancer for a recipient to receive a large, donation at the end.
Wow.
Uh, and it was really, really a great way to kind of get in front of a lot of people. I had a stack of postcards that showed a before and after picture of what Compass Concierge is. I did a raffle. I gave out those postcards, but those are also mailers. You can order them through the Compass Marketing Center. I use Prism Digital, which is located in Mountainside. So you can actually
Yep.
customize your postcard in the marketing center on Compass, and then just make sure you're downloading a template that's the same size as the ones that are available at whichever company you order your mailers from. I also did a Clipper magazine ad. Have you ever gotten Clipper
Oh,
magazine?
wow.
So I did like a before and after. I was
Uh-huh.
advertising in here. I had a QR code. Get a
Was
free.
that a kitchen or what was that? A
Yeah,
totally
it was a kitchen, cherry red cabinets.
you didn't think that yourself, did you?
I did. I did.
You did?
This was my old house. I didn't want to ask permission from a client if I could use their pictures. But yes, I did
Yeah.
my old kitchen.
Oh my god, that's so
But
cool.
I've also put together a book. I bring this on my listing presentations. The executor of my family's estate, he lived in North Carolina. And I said, Uncle Jeff, don't sell grandma and grandpa's house as is. Let me fix it, please. And this is at the time when Compass Concierge was interest free.
In
So that,
another state? Wait, in another state?
yeah, yeah.
What?
So, picture a grandma's house. She's lived there since 1952, raised her 5 kids there. And now, grandma and grandpa have since passed. We need to maximize this return on investment, right? Let's do it. I will do everything for you. And that's what I did. I got the contractor over there. I ordered the tile. I ordered everything that was needed.
Wow.
And, the paint, I was going to the paint store, buying the supplies, picking out the colors. You should have an idea before you start doing this of what's the top 5 paint colors used to maximize your return on investment when selling a home. You can Google all of this. Go on Pinterest. Pinterest is like amazing. Instagram, follow designers, follow people who are fixing and renovating houses. Go on Compass AI, ask it, what are the top 10 ways to increase your home's value before selling it without breaking the bank? And it'll give you a list of top 10 things. I'm sure it's like painting, cleaning up
Yeah.
the landscaping, doing some staging. And yeah, I think those are the big ones. Floors. Sometimes it's a matter of like replacing a backsplash or hardware. A lot of
Yeah.
it's, light fixtures. You'll go in,
So
you'll be
many
like, oh, that's a Builder Grade light fixture. That's like a $30 fix. You can get a fixture for $30. It's way more higher end looking and, you know, it's somebody who can put it in.
very cool. On the postcard end, are you doing a QR code or is it
Yep.
going anywhere?
It
Or is
goes
your
right to
website?
my ericasellsnj.com/contact. But now I also have ericasellsnj.com/concierge. And that will show them a list of some of my before and afters, what concierge covers. It goes more in depth. And then it says, click here to learn more. And I have an entire Google Drive folder I've created of before and afters of all
Yeah,
past. I have over 90 pictures uh,
really.
of before and afters. I had another client. She was living in Arizona. This was like a super, super like sad story. Her daughter had passed away very young. So she up and left. The mom, she up and left. She went to Arizona. She left the house mid renovation. And I said, don't worry, like I got this. This is Compass Concierge. You can get up to 25,000, but I believe this is going to exceed that amount. So anything else over that will be out of pocket. How would you feel if we were able to keep the number under X? But in return, you're going to get that back tenfold because if had she sold it as is, she would have lost $150,000. Like I'm not even kidding. It was
Oh,
that.
wow, really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm so glad that you said that. Unfortunately, yes, the program changed, but literally today I'm hearing I had a realtor, I'm not gonna name names, 2 weeks ago, say, "I would never use a Compass Concierge. Who needs 25 grand?" Right? But the presumption was that she's, catering to a higher clientele, but I beg to differ. I mean, you can do a lot with 25 grand. I mean, I recall having a listing in Scotch Plains, peak COVID, when we're all doing, like, virtual tours on our phones,
Yeah.
uh, and that was a very proud homeowner, beautiful estate-like home in Scotch Plains, and that's all they really wanted to spend. That was their budget, 25 grand, and they did a lot with that money. We
Yeah.
refit floors, we repainted the interior, they did everything that we said that they needed to do. They were ready. It's
Yeah.
nice when the sellers are ready.
It's harder when they're living there, right? If they're living there, then obviously it's a little different. You can't just pop over
Yeah,
anytime. You have to
yeah.
coordinate with the seller, make sure. My most recent concierge project was luckily in my neighborhood. She was living there. She had 2 kids and a dog. So we had to coordinate these renovations around her schedule
I'm
and
glad you
around
brought that up.
the
Yeah.
dog schedule. And, unfortunately, yes, she had to live through a renovation of her primary bathroom was being gut remodeled. She needed a brand new central AC unit. She needed some paint done. She needed like luxury vinyl plank. We suggested to have that installed. I replaced all of the hardware on her cabinet doors myself and cleaned them, like scrubbed, cleaned them just so everything was nice and fresh. And then she had her pool fixed, things like that. Like sometimes lack of maintenance can really cause a house to sit on a market. Like it really will. And people are like, well, this is just too much work. Then what happens? Then it's a price cut, another price cut. And you don't want that. You want your client to be happy and you just have to explain to them this is a sacrifice you have to make, right now. I know it's painful, but it will pay off in the long run.
You're so clear. It's just so powerful.
It's so true. If it was me, what would I do? If
Yeah.
if I wouldn't do it, then I'm not gonna tell them they should do it.
Let me ask you about your role, right? So I got that you're the champion. You're essentially the designer,
Mhm.
right? You're the stager. You've helped coordinate the contractor. Would you call yourself a project manager? Like, what would you call your role in terms of actively making that transformation? Are you there once a day? Are you popping in? Are you in the morning and the evening? Are you there all day? Like, what does that look like in that particular case where the mother or the lady was home with the kids?
I
What's your
think it
role?
I think, people will find that that's more common than a vacant property, right? So,
Yeah.
again, I was as hands-on as I could be in the beginning, telling her what I would order, what tile I would pick. Here's a vanity, and she went ahead and ordered everything.
Okay,
She
she did all
hung
the
the
ordering.
deliveries, and then I would be the one to communicate with the contractor to make sure X, Y, and Z was being done. This light fixture goes here, this faucet goes there. Just like that. And then at the end, once everything was all buttoned up and finished, then I came in with my curtains and my pillows and my bedding and the curtains that things I've purchased over the years just to have it for staging.
Yeah.
Little things just to add a pop of color. Home sense is great. I love it. It's a good place to go and get some little staging plants, add some greenery to a kitchen,
Uh-huh.
insert a nice
Yeah.
little staging. Sometimes the budget doesn't call for professional staging. So even just things as simple as fresh bedding
Sure.
is like white bedding. It photographs so much better for the room. Invest in that.
Do you have, like, a certain process?
No, I wish
Uh,
I had a process. Every project is different though. So
yeah. Yes.
honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, like if the Home Depot delivery is running late, then I'll just forward them the email or let them know it's
Yeah.
running late. Usually it's a text message because, if they're at work or something, or I'll say, "Hey, I'm coming over at such and such time today to check on things." It's usually
Yeah.
just a quick
Yeah. Sure,
thing.
sure,
We
sure.
don't have time to be spending hours and hours in.
I was just wondering how you
Yeah.
work. Are you a Home Depot Pro account?
Yes. Cost is really important. If the cost is exceeding what you think that they'll get in the resale from, if you think about it this way, I kind of like to use the analogy of 2 to 1, 50% more
Mm,
on top of whatever that burden is. They're
okay.
getting extra, they're getting that much more. That's a goal. It's not always guaranteed, but like if
Sure.
it costs you $5,000 to repaint your entire house and we know you're going to get 10,000 back from that, then do it.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I tend to shy away from return on investment, right? We all know that the cabinets that are behind you look so much better the way they are, and certainly there's a value add. Do you shy away from return on the work that you're doing in the bathroom or kitchen, or you just say, "Listen," do you keep it general? Are you specific? I'm just curious.
You can use facts. You can Google it, and they'll tell you what a minor
Okay.
kitchen renovation would do as a return on investment.
So you'll throw out general numbers based on search. Okay.
But I usually just speak I'm very transparent. So, like, I would say if I had a buyer and I was showing your house to this is if they're already open to the idea of
Sure,
fixing
of
it. Like, I'm
course.
not gonna try to insult them,
Of
you know?
course.
But if they're like, "Yeah, we wish we had X, Y, or Z in our kitchen," well, we can make that happen. I think I can get it done for X amount of dollars. And I believe my buyer would then pay this, a lot more for your house because you've done that to your kitchen. Like,
Right.
it's more likely that they'll pay more because now they see that it's updated and not so outdated. Y I mean, like I said, backsplash paint, hardware, that a lot of times does enough to, like, give it a nice new look.
So you mentioned painting kitchen cabinets and you mentioned backsplash. So when I hear backsplash, I feel like I hear like you having to rip stuff out. In fact, when we did our kitchen cabinets, we had a perfectly fine tile that was
Mhm,
tea green that
mhm.
had to be changed. And my painter luckily came up. We did a Venetian plaster and made it look like stone, and we love it.
Cool.
Still amazing to this day. It was actually the first time that she did it. They had
Yeah,
it way more coats than they thought
yeah.
might be a failure, but at the end it was done and it's beautiful,
I
right?
love
So,
that.
yeah, it's really crazy. I gotta document that. But my question is, are the tricks in the trade like maybe I shouldn't admit this, but sometimes when I have clients that have a lot of ugly bathroom tile, I'll bring in a professional enamel painter, right?
Absolutely.
You know, like backsplash. I don't know why I keep coming on this backsplash, but what can you do? Do you have to rip out the backsplash? Are there other tricks of the trade? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, like there's tub and tile paint. I mean, tub and
yeah,
tile paint, just like you
right.
said. I
Yeah,
mean, that person who sprayed the bathtub, they could
right.
probably do the tile too.
Yeah.
But usually my painter can do that. My painter knows how to do tub and
Is
tile
that
paint.
right?
It's very, very smelly. So like I don't usually recommend that
Right. It's
because
pretty
you don't want
toxic.
to be in
It's
the house for
noisy.
like 24
Yeah.
hours. It's
Right.
very, very stinky.
Yes.
They also make, for an easy fix on somebody's floor, there's so many nice vinyl tiles now too. That's an easy without
Sure.
having to rip out the floor, that
Right.
it's a click and install rather than grouting and all that. And it just gives it like a nice updated look and it photographs
Right.
way better, you know?
Right. Very cool. Well, let's get back to marketing because, the goal here is to help people. Do you think that we can start new conversation using digital tactics? Do you think there's ways we can scale this conversation? And the next question is like, what can we do better as a company and as realtors to generate more new, fresh conversations. That's the holy grail, of course.
Love it. Love it. This is actually like a big sticking point for me because
Yeah.
I get frustrated when I see a new
Yeah.
list come on that's an estate sale. Oh, they could have ripped out that carpet. Like I could have made this look so much better. I'd be getting this much more. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, that house might be devaluing somebody else's house because they didn't spend $5,000 ripping out
Yeah.
carpet and refinishing floors. You
And
know,
for those who don't know watching this, estates do qualify for
hmm
concierge.
yep,
LLC don't,
right.
but estates do. I think
Yep.
someone has to sign, the executor or someone responsible for the estate
I
has to
went
sign
through it with
off
my
on that.
uncle. Hmm. Yes.
Yeah. So
That's a big one. So attorneys, they should have a pretty big understanding. They have clients that have estates. So I would hope that if I could meet an attorney who would
sure.
help, we would be maximizing their client's sale if he referred them to me because I would do this for them, which
Right.
no other agents are doing. They might be just saying,
Right.
like, get rid of this stuff. Here's a junk guy who can take care of everything. And here's an estate sale person who can sell the rest of the furniture. We take that to another level.
Right. What can we do better? What do you dream of in terms of marketing? What could we do better to start more conversations?
Have you ever heard of Google? You have companies
Yes.
marketing dollars. So that's one of our reimbursable expenses. I am just doing it by myself. I had 2 meetings with her in the last 2 weeks
Oh,
to
wow. So this
improve
is
my
new.
keywords.
This
Mhm.
is a new endeavor.
Yes. My spend was very low, and I was like, "I need to spend more on Google."
Okay.
So with a call to action. So that's been my goal. I got a lead last night at 8:30 PM for a $1.6 million and he needs concierge. And he must have found me on Google. I didn't ask.
All right.
He
We're
must have.
leading. I'm going to cut this clip out.
I'm so excited.
No
And it's moving
way.
out in 6 days when the lease is up and he lives in Michigan. So I'm the person and it needs work. It needs some updates. I'm gonna go in there and I'm be like, you need to spend this amount of money and this is what we're gonna do. And this is why you're gonna hire me. Because I can do all of this while you're there. I'm your contractor, essentially, because I'm doing all the work for you. You just have to buy it.
So can I share something with you?
Yeah.
If you go to ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT the difference between hiring a realtor as your project manager and hiring a general contractor who's a
Mhm.
stranger and not aligned necessarily with the seller's interest, you'll be surprised to see all the benefits of hiring a realtor versus just going straight to a GC.
I love that.
Try it.
It's a good blog
I'm
post.
not giving the answer here. Those of you who are curious, go in yourself, go in your ChatGPT and ask, what is the benefit of hiring a realtor as your project manager versus going straight to a GC, right? So it's amazing because I'll give you a couple of clues. We're aligned with the seller's interests. We have fiduciary responsibility. There's literally 8 other points why they should hire
I love
us.
that.
So,
So
so that's
to your point,
mhm.
that's a great marketing tool. I wish I can make that on Canva. I could
Yeah,
put
do
little
it.
point, make a little Instagram thing and then I could
Well,
put it on my
I'll tell you
blog.
what, I'm going to make one because this is about helping each other as a community. Like,
Mhm.
we're clear that we love Compass. We're clear that Compass Concierge works. We're clear that it is Compass's advantage. It's our edge. We're clear that sellers need it. A good portion are open to it. Some people may not be, or maybe you need to have a conversation and see if they'll open up to it. Sometimes the no turns into a yes, right?
Yeah,
It's all about the way you pitch it or the perspective or the context that you put it in, right? So,
exactly.
yeah, no, this is really, really amazing. This is like a dream first interview, your selling system. If we can continue to share and collaborate and see what's working, what's not, what could work better, then we can all get more business and
Yeah.
really, right?
Yep.
Is there anything else you want to say or share?
I would say start making the relationships with people that are in the industry, whether it be a painter or a handyman. Start familiarizing yourself with the best paint colors so you know off the top of your head what to pick. And if you don't, you can hire somebody. I remember I hired Natalia Price to come and
Oh,
do a
yeah.
This is when I was very new in the business. I think it was
Wow.
2015. And
Yeah.
I Googled home stager and designer. Her name popped up. I had no idea who she was, but I wanted my client to be impressed that I brought in somebody who is a professional paint, designer and knows good paint colors for her house. It
Wow.
was a million and a half dollar listing. So she made her recommendations, charged a small fee to my client, and that was that. And, you know, now I have that like I know what it is. So like if you wanted to hire me to come and do that, you can always do that. I've had agents in my office do that. They've hired me to help with a design consult because you don't always know. Y- Like if it's not in your
Yeah.
DNA, you don't
Yeah.
follow the trends and you don't know, then just hire somebody who does know.
Yeah.
I never try to pitch myself to that client. All I'm doing is putting together a list of recommendations. I get paid a small fee, and that's part of the concierge,
Oh,
reimbursement.
wow. So
I
you're
can
willing to
come
do
out of
that.
pocket with it.
You're making us an offer. I'm gonna accept that offer. Very
Yes,
that's amazing.
absolutely.
Okay,
I've
cool.
had agents call me that wanted to redo their bathroom, wanted to redo their kitchen. Like, I can't even tell you the number of people that call me like, "Can you help us?"
Sure. Do you think that would translate virtually? Would you be open to a virtual consult?
Oh, yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
possible? Yeah, that would work?
I mean, it wouldn't be as easy because
Yeah,
I like to see the space. Like,
sure.
I need to feel out the
Yeah,
vibe of the whole house, you know?
right. Okay,
Then I know aesthetically, like, what makes sense.
got it. Got it,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
but
But you're
it's fun.
open. Okay, yeah, that's so cool. Well, Erica, Travis, thank you so much for this is amazing. This is gonna be a contribution to many, many realtors, and let's stay connected. Let's see how those Google things work out for you, and I hope you get more business and
Thank
really
you.
continue to be a contribution to sellers across New Jersey and beyond.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Nice
thank
speaking to you too. Good luck with
yeah,
those things.
you so much. All right, take
Thanks.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.